We get to bring it to you right here on Big Ten Network. A lot of urgency, a lot of importance, a lot of intensity, all packed into week 2. And a touchback will bring Maryland's first offensive series of the day. Led by Billy Edwards. Again, 311 yards passing a week ago. 2 touchdowns, 20 of 27. Had an efficient day. And we were talking with Josh Gaddis, the OC for Maryland, and he told us that Billy Edwards was the best backup quarterback he could have ever had.
And not only with the way that he plays the position, the production that he can provide, but the attitude that he took to things day in and day out, the work that Billy Edwards put in to preparing for each game, and the support that he provided to the starting quarterback, Taulia Tagovailoa.
Going up against a Spartan defense that came up in the big moments a week ago against Florida Atlantic. They're trying to run it into the teeth of that defense on the very first play. For Michigan State, as Cal Haladay makes that tackle, one point of emphasis for them was the first and second down stops to try to limit this Maryland offense to put up 50 points last week.
That's the thing. Maryland threw it for over 300. They ran it for well over 200 in their first game. Michigan State has to make them one-dimensional today.
Maryland finished week 1 first in total offense amongst Big Ten teams. They go to the ground with a little deception here. Roman Hemby getting the carry. He had 66 yards on the ground last week. Hemby going to be a key part of the DNA of this Terrapin offense that you see here. We mentioned in the open, Tai Felton, Caden Prather is his partner in crime, and an early third down here for the Maryland offense coming up.
Big opportunity for this Spartan defense. They got home for 7 sacks without having to blitz at a high clip as we've seen in recent years with the previous regime.
Empty backfield look. They set up the screen. This was really lucrative last week for Maryland. Those screen plays out of the edge. The perimeter going to be so key today. And look who they go to, Tai Felton.
There's so many different things that make a screen pass impactful. Part of it is the timing and accuracy of the quarterback, allowing Tai Felton to work into the football as he receives it, keeping his momentum moving forward, but also the teammates on the flank, blocking in space, allowing him to advance.
Bring Octavian Smith over in motion this time. Go to the opposite side, but to the same target in Tai Felton once again. So early on, seeing the imprints of the identity of what Maryland wants to accomplish, or just get the ball in the hands of their playmakers as Angelo Gross makes that tackle.
It takes the starch out of the pass rush when they know they come out of their stands trying to rush the quarterback and the ball's already gone.
So the linebacker core for Michigan State is the strength. They're going to get tested here downfield. Out of the reach, could have been 6. They wanted Caden Prather.
Chris Bogle was able to get home up front. Billy Edwards got the ball out of his hands in rhythm, so he didn't necessarily feel the rush as he was delivering the football, but he'll know it was there later. So that hit is important and impactful, even though it didn't necessarily impact the pass itself.
Second, third down of this opening drive for Maryland coming up, 3rd and 2. Go to those screens the last time. Opts to run it. This time got met by the Michigan State defense. Cal Haladay grabbed a hold of him from the ankles as they went to Hemby. See where they spot it. It is enough for the first down.
Just narrowly enough for the first down, Jason, but he did get there. That's an area of Roman Hemby's game that's improved season by season. His ability to run on the interior with toughness, to drop his pad level and gain yards after contact.
Saw 3 different Maryland running backs get touchdowns last week. Hemby was one of them. Go to the ground this time and bring in Nolan Ray. Exciting young back. And he ripped off a 48-yarder last week. Kind of the number 2 back right now, but maybe they're back of the future.
I mean, the creativity on that touchdown run last week was absolutely spectacular. And his ability to run through an ankle tackle and take it the distance.
Brings up 2nd and 8. Billy Edwards 4-0 as a starter for Maryland. He'll pull it here. His second deep shot in the corner. Down the sideline and once again out of the reach of his intended target. Just barely. It was Tai Felton trying to catch up to that one.
Another hit in the backfield on Billy Edwards. That time it was Maverick Hansen getting home. But there's a lot of man coverage here on the outside being played by Joe Rossi. Nice move inside by Hansen getting home. And again, This one, because it came from the interior, didn't allow Billy Edwards to step into the throw quite as much as he would like to, but he's getting hit as he's dropping back. That impacts the QB throughout the game.
No, 3rd and 8. Third down in the opening series. Edwards evading tackle, shovels it dangerously. It was snatched out of the air. Then pushing the pile here, trying to get this first down. See if they got it. I think they did, and after all of that, Michigan State sideline vehemently coming out on the field. And now the refs are trying to push them back to their sideline, saying they didn't make the first down. I never heard a whistle for forward progress stopping either. It is going to be a first down, it looks like.
Well, I'm not sure the officials knew where the ball was, Jason. That might be why there was no whistle. The prestidigitation on display from Billy Edwards as the pass rush getting home, that blitz getting into the pocket, affecting Edwards, and he was able to underhand flip the football and ends up moving the chains for the Terps.
That's not your average tight end catch from Dylan Wade. Now do you get that out of the way early? They do say Dylan Wade is one of the most athletic guys in the team, and it showed up there. Go back to the ground on first down as they have on this opening series. That's been an interesting one already to this point. Again, Billy Edwards, 4-0 as a starter, learned behind Talia Tagovailoa last couple of years. You mentioned how good he was as a backup QB, filled in for him a couple of times. And in the bowl game last year, they really felt like this could be the guy. And then he won the QB battle in camp, which wasn't a guarantee. And he's off to a pretty good start so far again today. Able to step up confidently in the pocket, flips it out to his running back out of the backfield. It is Ray, tackled there by Charles Brantley out on the edge. Brings up another third down, though.
Very early in the season here, just evaluating Billy Edwards as the full-time starter, because it's a very different situation as a quarterback if you occasionally have to step in. He had made 3 prior starts, including the bowl game, and done some good things. But there's such a balance to the way he's playing the position, a comfort behind center.
A willing runner as well. We haven't seen that yet. Screen game set up again. We have seen this because it's working right now with Ty Felton, who is coming off an awesome week. Had 7 catches, 178 yards, and 2 touchdowns a week ago, picking up right where he left off.
You feel so close as a defender. I can imagine Joe Rossi multiple times so far feeling like his defender is in position, nearly deflecting a pass, nearly getting a tackle that stops them short of the chains. And this Maryland offense, with all their versatility, just keeps you off balance.
And they're 4 of 4 on third down so far. Fresh set of downs. One-on-one coverage again. He wants Prather! Leaping out, couldn't make the catch. Working against Charles Brantley that time.
Well, last week it was the Michigan State offense that had all the air yards with their passing attack. But Maryland is seeing one-on-one coverage, snap after snap on the outside. This is secondary for the Spartans.
Number 0, 15-yard penalty from the previous line of scrimmage. Automatic. First down.
I was wondering if the officials were going to see that or not, because pretty much throughout the majority of the route, Charles Brantley had his arm on the back shoulder of Caden Prather over and over again. So step after step, Prather even used his hand, his inside hand, to try to ward him off a bit. Brantley took it off in the last second.
Maryland moving with a little tempo right now as well. A statement there from the Michigan State defensive line. But to go back to that last penalty last week, that was an issue. There were 9 defensive penalties, 6 of which allowed first downs. Malik Spencer, who you see on their screen there, he was ejected for targeting in the first half a week ago. Back this week, and going to be a key part of that secondary right now as you see the issues with the flags last week. Second down here, set up shop in the red zone now. Neither team liked the red zone performance a week ago. One-on-one again. This time it might be successful. It is! Ty Felton, touchdown.
Some nice run action in the backfield, set up this teardrop for Billy Edwards. Terrapin's offense picking up right where they left off in week 1. And after a few misses, some narrow overthrows. This one was on the money.
Jack Howes will come out for the extra point. A lengthy drive to begin this conference opener for Maryland. And the extra point is good.
Hard to tell for Billy Edwards if this is really just his 5th start or maybe his 5th year as a starter, because he looks as seasoned as you can hope for a quarterback to look. The comfort he's showing. Dropping bombs at CQ.
All right, welcome back to College Park. So capping off a 14-play, 75-yard drive, Ty Felton on the receiving end of the TD. And now he's going to go ahead, Anthony, and swap jerseys here. Not only is he leading the Big Ten in receiving right now, but he's also going to play on the special teams unit. And because there is another number 10 on the special teams unit in Reddick, he has to put on 80 so you don't have 2 players for the same number.
I mean, I respect that, man. You're the leading receiver in the Big Ten. Just put 6 on the board. Now go cover this kickoff.
Well, Housel booted away. Michigan State trying to set up their offense in position to answer back here. And they won't have great field position as that special teams unit for Maryland comes up big. Back at the 15. You see Felton walking off the field now. Now he can get a breather. Unless he comes out and plays both sides of the ball.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe we'll see him line up at safety or something like that, too. He didn't exactly get in the mix too much, but we'll see throughout the day.
So Aiden Childs trots out for the first time. Did not love his performance a week ago. He was really critical of himself. Wants to improve this week. His offensive coordinator, Brian Lindgren, was showing him videos and history of past QBs who had rough first starts. You include Peyton Manning in there. John Elway was another one that he showed him. But reiterated that this team is behind you. It's a learning process. Just 18 years old right now and making his first Big Ten Conference game start. Try to get him going early with the screen to Montori Foster, his top receiver, and Glendon Miller forces him out of bounds.
That's the way that Aiden Childs can be supported as much as anything. I mean, the air yards per attempt last week, and I get it, the coverage dictated that there were one-on-one matchups. You got an opportunity for big plays. It didn't work out. They were 0 for 7 on passes of over 20 yards or more. But, man, there was a lot asked of him in his first career start.
Threw for 114 yards, did have a rushing touchdown. Nice opening play for the Spartans to make it 2nd and short. They'll fake it. They want to create pass plays off the run. That is deflected in and out of the hands of Jerron Glover, who would have loved to have that one back.
He had his tight end in the flat. He had Michael Masunas that was there, Masunas that was waiting for him. Ends up deciding to go with the more difficult pass back across his body. And this is where that balance needs to work out, because Brian Lindgren is calling Aiden Childs into an easy completion right here. He could have taken the layup, and he didn't.
Third down. Quick throw to the sideline, and that is caught and hauled in by the freshman Nick Marsh. There are multiple flags that come flying out.
It's a nice ball from the young quarterback.
Our referee, Jerry McGinn, set to make this call. It'll be an important one.
Into the play. Personal foul. Defense, number 20, unnecessary roughness. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
So a big penalty on the Maryland defense. Get another look at the late hit here.
Michigan State fans hoping this is just a glimpse into the future of Spartan football with their sophomore quarterback and their freshman wide receiver, Nick Marsh, extremely talented.
Marsh had a great fall camp, and with Alante Brown out with injury for the foreseeable future, Marsh will be a big piece of this Michigan State offense. They go to Jerron Glover this time on the sideline, trying to get this offense started up, already off to a better start than a week ago.
And you're seeing so many short and intermediate passes. At the front for Maryland, there's certainly some movement. It's an odd front, down 3 linemen. They'll shift to a 4-down look, but not quite as exotic as what Michigan State faced with their inexperienced offensive line last week. FAU showed them so many different looks, and it threw off at times the pass protection, but certainly the run fits.
Take a step back, please.
Michigan State on the plus side of the 50 now after the penalty and a couple of positive plays. Here's a positive play for Nate Carter. Foster broke to the second level, and he sets up Michigan State in the red zone. No easing into this game, Matt. We're off and running out with the offenses.
It's not only about if Aiden Childs can connect on the deep ball. So far this series, he's got a play caller that's using the short to intermediate game. And now, after they get the defense moving laterally, snap after snap with some of those bubble screens in the lateral game, now you gash them up the gut with the run.
Coaches hope their biggest jump, at least one of their biggest jumps of the season, is week 1 to week 2. Right now, it already looks like a pretty big jump for this Spartan offense on their opening drive. Adjustment from Childs at the line. They'll go back to the ground game, back to Nate Carter powering his way inside of the 10. The experienced back, who along with K-Ron and Lynch Adams, they kind of complement the young QB so well.
The target for the offensive line on this stretch zone scheme, that's what Jonathan Smith and Brian Lindgren, they had so much success in Corvallis at Oregon State, running the stretch zone where your offensive line has to operate in unison. They work laterally and then begin climbing up towards the linebackers. Nate Carter has experience earlier in his career within that system back when he was at UConn.
They've got Carter in the backfield again. It's Velling in motion. They were looking Velling's direction, go the opposite way. Childs to the end zone, out of the reach of Montorie Foster. And speaking of Oregon State, and one player who they had success in the red zone with in particular there was Jack Velling, who transferred over with Aiden Childs and the center Tanner Miller.
What I like about that particular snap, even though it's an incompletion, a quarterback who threw multiple interceptions last week, Aiden Childs uses his mobility to extend the play, fires it into the end zone, but put it in a spot where Montorie Foster was the only person in CQ Stadium who had any chance of catching that football.
3rd and 4. Childs to the end zone again in a crossing route, and that is caught. Montorie Foster, Michigan State answers right back.
What a response by Aiden Childs. And Montorie Foster is a player that needed to respond to his week 1 performance as well. They bring him in motion, and he's off the ball. So in man-to-man coverage, especially when you're in the red zone, you have to react in a moment's notice. Perry Fisher pedals in the paint. Aiden Childs and Montorie Foster make him pay.
Oh, Michigan State with a very intriguing alignment here.
Maybe a double gate. Like back in the day, we would call it the swinging gate when everyone would line up to one side. Spread gate. I'm going to coin that phrase.
I like it.
That was the spread gate.
Now get back to Jonathan Kim trying to tack on this extra point to tie up the game. He does just that. What a start at.
Week 1 was the amuse-bouche. The appetizer, if you will. Each team feeling like there was room for growth by week 2. We're seeing growth from these Spartan playmakers, all tied up in College Park.
Seven apiece. First quarter, Maryland and Michigan State conference opener in the Big Ten. If you're looking for the Washington Eastern Michigan game, by the way, you can go to btn.com/gamefinder right now to see where you can find that game in your area. For all of you tuned in for this one, it's been a fun start. Both teams exchanging long opening drives. Maryland's was 75 yards. Michigan State's was 84. They both resulted in touchdowns. And now back comes out the Maryland offense, and we take a look at our Impact players, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
On offense for Maryland, Roman Hemby as a running back, certainly one of the best in the business, big play threat. Andre Roy making the start last week. I was so impressed with their new left tackle stepping into the lineup. Dequan Dowse for Michigan State on the interior for the Spartans. Scored the first points of the season last week with a safety. And Angelo Gross, been a playmaker throughout his career at the safety position. He's going to have to play an even bigger role with some of the injuries that Joe Rossi has on the back end.
That Maryland O-line that Roman Hemby is running behind, it is entirely reconstructed. 5 new guys up front, protecting Billy Edwards. Their starting QB hands it off to Prather. Got blocks set up on the edge. Got cut down quickly, though. Coming out to make the play was Charles Brantley, the corner. He looked really good last week. They're hoping he can be their comeback player of the year. Missed the final 9 games the season ago.
When you're banged up in the secondary, you still have to have the willingness to deploy your playmakers in a variety of ways. Charles Brantley saw him get beat on coverage a little bit previous series. There, darts into the backfield.
Edwards in this offense took some deep shots in the opening drive. They check it down underneath this time. Darius Snow made the tackle. Now sets up 3rd down. This was a key part of the Maryland opening drive. They went 4 for 4 on 3rd down.
Conversely, how will Joe Rossi, how will this Michigan State defense answer the bell? Schematically, I think they're fine. They have to shore up the tackling when they have someone stop short of the chains.
Good pocket for Edwards. Crossing route complete. Make it 5 for 5 on 3rd down today. And for the first time, they find number 5, Octavian Smith Jr.
So many playmakers who've been in this system for several years, and frankly, it does feel a little bit unique in college football when you have talented guys who are willing to stick with the offense over and over again, like Octavian Smith. He's really talented. He could be one of the top 2 receivers for a variety of programs, but he's stuck with the Terps in College Park.
Maybe an X factor for this Maryland offense this year. Back to the ground, looking for the edge is Hemby. Broke through a couple of tackles. We were telling each other before the game, man, we think Michigan State, they're going to have the tackling game of their life. You have to be stout tackling out in the perimeter today against Maryland.
The way you fit blocks matters so much, and then certainly when you actually finish for tackles, a big part of the storyline for this Spartan defense.
Offense, number 16, 10-yard penalty from the previous line of scrimmage, remains 1st down.
They got Leon Houghton for holding there.
Please reset the game clock to 3:28, 3:28. Thank you.
Billy Edwards off to an 8 of 10 start.
And Houghton initially collisions with Kyle Halliday to set the edge. I don't love that call. Yes, he did eventually get his hands into the shoulder pads of Halliday, but there was nothing that required a clinch or a grasp where he pulled Halliday to the ground.
Brings Maryland to 1st and 20 now. They're trying to get a lot of that yardage back here, squeezing it into a tight window. Leaping up defensively was Charles Brantley that time. A lot of zeros in the mix there. You had Charles Brantley and then Dylan Wade was going for the catch for Maryland.
Different type of test in this game. A team more physically capable of standing up, of going man on the outside, of getting home with their pass rush. This Maryland offensive line, very inexperienced. They haven't operated together as a group very much. Certain guys haven't even played at the FBS level that often yet.
Faced with 2nd and 20 now, to the air again, incomplete again. He was looking for the touchdown target on the last drive, Ty Felton. Michigan State an opportunity for a big stop here to get this ball back.
So on this down and distance, the patience of Joe Rossi's defense will be tested because it's an opportunity to get off the football field, but when you have them reined in, penned in for a tackle short of the chains, you can't pick up a penalty. They did that too often last week.
Quick snap, set up screens. It's Wade again, the tight end, hit promptly there by Wayne Matthews, who's back in his home state. Largo, Maryland native. Got a ton of family here. He's their honorary captain for today. You see Wade a little slow to get up, but a big day for Wayne Matthews with a ton of family and friends here.
It's always nice. There's so much football talent that comes out of this DMV area, this DC, Maryland, Virginia. Schools from all around the country come here looking to recruit football players to bring them.
So first time we'll see Bryce McPherson, the transfer from Notre Dame, new punter for Maryland. And it is Montorie Foster back to return. Fair catch at about the 18. Entertaining first quarter. 7 apiece. Long drives for both teams.
Time out on the field.
Spartan offense takes over when we come back. Tied up here in College Park. Let's go to the studio with Dave for a quick Iowa State update.
Yeah, Jason Caleb Johnson had a huge second half last week, picking up right where he left off, a 27-yard touchdown run. It's 7-0 Hawkeyes, and they are on the move again, guys.
Rivalries.
It's a big day for you internally.
The Cyhawk.
And the emotions.
The Cyhawk has meant something to me over the years.
Yep.
No doubt.
If you need a shoulder to lean on today, I'm here for you, as always.
You might want to keep your distance, actually.
You've already told me that once or twice today. Yeah, good. Speaking of the trenches up here in the booth and downstairs in the field. Maryland D-line winning that battle. Kellen Wyatt came down from his linebacker position to make the tackle.
This matchup is going to matter so much because the experience that Maryland has in their defensive front, especially with a guy like Jordan Phillips at the nose position, is matching up with an experienced center today in Tanner Miller. Miller's got to do what he can to keep his young quarterback clean.
And Phillips and Tommy the King Basote as well in there looked really good last week against UConn. Childs, pocket breaks down. Phillips chasing after him. Childs will just get this one away. That ball was caught by Trader, but out of bounds. This Michigan State team, you got to be proud of finishing in the red zone. They got there 4 times last week, only converted once, but now tasked with a 3rd and long, and Maryland's defense trying to answer the bell.
If there's anything from the week 1 performance of Maryland's defense that could take a sizable leap forward, it is the pass rush of the down lineman getting home. It's a really nice rush from Jordan Phillips that forced the quarterback out of the pocket.
MSU backed up in front of a lot of Maryland fans with noise in their ears. They go over the middle. That is intercepted. It's Glendon Miller. Back-to-back weeks with the Glendon Miller interception, and he sets up Maryland inside of the red zone. Their ball hawk in the secondary continues to do it big.
Opportunistic play for the Terps defense. Childs trying to get it to Nick Marsh on the in cut. He had him open and available, just sailed the football. And when you do that against this Brian Williams defense, they become as good as any secondary in the Big Ten at clutching the football and going the other way with it. Glendon Miller wearing that #1 jersey with good reason. He has grown up in this Maryland program and become one of their defensive leaders.
He said that wearing that #1 kind of forces him to embrace the spotlight. He's been in the spotlight early on, 2nd straight week with an INT. Now the offense takes over in the red zone, looking for the edge and trying to cut it back inside. There was Ray, who had his first career touchdown a week ago. He'll set up about the 5, maybe 4-yard line here.
Nolan Ray has got some get up and go, man. Like when he starts to hit top gear, he gets there in a hurry. You see him eating up angles on defenders.
They clocked him at 23 miles per hour.
Whew.
He can get up there in a hurry.
It's like Kylan Mills type speed.
Yes. Nolan Ray went to their camp, and that the staff, when they were recruiting him, noticed just how explosive he was. Stuck with him through the recruiting process. It has more than paid off. 1st and goal now. Going back, it's Billy Edwards this time into the end zone. He goes.
Sometimes you have to guess as a defender when the offense is in striking distance of a touchdown. And when you get nosy, especially against an athletic quarterback, a guy like Billy Edwards can put 6 on the board in a heartbeat. The edge of that Michigan State defense, they did everything they could to just sort of bear down on the inside between the tackle box.
Only took 2 plays, 17 yards. Glendon Miller started it all with his 2nd pick of the season. A Maryland defense that scored 76 points off takeaways a season ago.
Gotta love it when defense turns to offense. Brian Williams secondary making plays. Putting this Terrapins offense in striking distance. Billy Edwards paying it off for the Terps.
Well, next Saturday, Big Ten Tailgate is live from Michigan's campus to set the scene for a full day of football. The fun begins at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific, only on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Fun start to the day here in College Park. Jason Ross Jr., Anthony Herron, Kylan Mills down on the sideline, our outstanding crew. Behind the scenes as well, crushing it. It's been a fun start to this game. Isaiah Johnson lets that roll into the end zone, and the Spartan offense with 47 seconds left coming back out. We'll take a peek at our impact players, brought to you by Auto Owners Insurance. So, Ant, for here, you're looking at the Oregon State guys that transferred over for the Spartans and some big guys on the defensive side from Maryland.
Still waiting to see Jack Velling get involved in this Michigan State offense. He'll be excellent once they do. Was talking about Tanner Miller. The experience he brings over from center has been a great matchup so far with Jordan Phillips, one of the most stout defenders on the interior of Maryland's defensive line, and Ruben Hippolyte on the Butkus Award watch list.
There's Jack Velling. He said last week we won, but it didn't quite feel right. It was a 16-10 win over Florida Atlantic. Flag goes flying. Childs back to the air. Once Velling, who had to adjust his body. Beautiful catch, but will it stand is the next question here. It would be a gain of 23 if it does.
Legal formation. Offense, number 66 was lined up in the backfield. 5-yard penalty from the previous line of scrimmage. Remains first down.
And I think they heard your Auto Owners Insurance impact players because they wanted to go to Velling, but it's the penalties, man. It's creeping in again here.
And as an offensive tackle, you can't just base your alignment off of the guard next to you. Your helmet, as you get into your stance, has to still break the plane of the hips of the center. At that time, Ashton Lepo was too far back.
Jonathan Smith, his first Big Ten game as Michigan State's head coach. First road trip as well. Everyone kind of learning the little details on the fly together with a lot of new faces. Back to the air, a quick dart this time, and that is caught. They get a couple of yards. It's Velling, so they go back to him, try to get some of that yardage back. Hippolyte brought him down.
Here's what's interesting to me as the first quarter comes to a close, Jason. The response from Michigan State offensively has been, yes, let's take pressure off of Aiden Childs, but not by asking him not to throw the football. It's been a more controlled passing attack. He's thrown it pretty well. The one sailed, and it really crushed the momentum that Michigan State had.
Well, 14-7, Mike Loxley's crew is in front. The Glendon Miller interception, the difference to this point. Childs and the Spartans scored on their opening drive to answer Maryland's first score. 14-7 after one. Welcome back to College Park. Let's go down to Kylan Mills, who's with head coach Jonathan Smith.
Coach, your staff said getting quarterback Aiden Childs into a rhythm was a big focus early in this one. He was throwing the ball well outside of that interception. What was your evaluation?
Well, in the interception, I actually think he's going to a decent spot. It just took off on him. He's got to get his feet set so he'd be accurate on those throws. So been pleased in general. Obviously, we don't want to give him the ball like that. Defensively, making them earn it. We put a couple of drives. Yeah, they scored on the first one. We got off the field, and then we give them the ball on the 15. Obviously, we're going to tighten that up.
Thanks, Coach.
Nearly coughed it up again. We're able to pounce back on it. And Michigan State, all of a sudden propelled by a little luck there, up to the 46-yard line. Childs, a captain. You see the C on his jersey at just 18 years old. 3 of the 5 Michigan State captains are transfers this year. Powering through that left side, Hippolyte finally able to bring down K'Ron Lynch Adams, who emerges out of that pile. Had a big game a week ago, 63-yard touchdown run to introduce himself to Spartan fans, the transfer from UMass.
It's kind of interesting that really each run game had the backup running back as the one who had the more electrifying moment during the game with a huge touchdown run. But when it comes down to it, each of these teams will need to depend on their main ball carrier to really be the one who sets the tone.
2nd and 2, second time on the plus side of the 50. Velling gives Childs a block, and he wants it all with Foster downfield. Couldn't quite connect with him. Evan Humes back on the very deep coverage.
I mean, these opportunities will be there, and to me, I think it's fairly obvious Aidan Chiles in a better rhythm so far in this game than he was last week. But another opportunity at the deep ball that just narrowly overthrows Montorie Foster. Now, we saw Billy Edwards overthrow his receivers a few times on their initial series as well. Michigan State will come back to that look.
It brings up 3rd and 2. And in a spot of the field where you definitely want to get this. Chiles trying to get there. We'll see where they mark it. Forward progress looks to be a first down. Chiles gained some weight in the offseason, a little tougher to bring down. He would come in every 3rd series for Oregon State last year. So heading into last week, it was his first career start, but he had 91 collegiate snaps before that, making plays like this.
And one of the things that I've been really confident about when it comes to Aidan Chiles is, as talented as he is physically, it's, to me, in the time in covering him, even as he was coming out of high school, the emotional maturity of Aidan Chiles really stands out.
Oh, what a spin move from Lynch Adams, but then ran into a lot of trouble in the form of several red jerseys on the opposite side. Caleb Wheatland was there. So was Dante Trader. Loss of 4 that time.
Dante Trader flew in here, and he was just hitting anything that moved. Caleb Wheatland actually had this play pretty much finished off. Then there comes Dante Trader. We usually term that as friendly fire. When you got a teammate coming in to finish off a tackle, he hits you instead of hitting the intended ball carrier.
Fun film room review for Monday.
Oh, yeah.
Chiles gets rid of it to Marsh, his freshman receiver, the 4-star recruit. And his second catch of the day over on the sidelines will set up 3rd and manageable here. Matched up against another freshman in Kevin Hughes right now, as that's a battle to keep an eye on.
There's plenty of man coverage being shown by Brian Williams' defense, but it's not a bunch of press man across the board. Maryland using some single high looks frequently enough, but it's still at times make for an easy read for Aidan Chiles. That time, that was about as quick as he's gotten the football out of his hands yet.
They'll try to run it here, pick up the 4, maybe more. On the outside, they are going to get more. Kayron Lynch Adams, an authoritative ending to that run. Face to face with Glendon Miller on the sideline. He picks up 16.
I like that finish from Kayron Lynch Adams. That's where, as you reference the growth from week 1 to week 2, growth in that physicality, in the urgency of a young running back running the football with out there near the sideline, getting ready to turn up the corner. Glendon Miller beat him at the sideline. He got the worst end of that one.
Anthony Kayron said earlier this week, I run with anger. There was some anger at the end of that run. Chiles to the end zone for Velling, incomplete. No flag flying there. Nice job from Wheatland to drop back in coverage.
We are seeing now at least a concerted effort. Jack Velling a part of the offensive game plan. That was one thing that Brian Lindgren pointed out to us as we spoke to him during the week. They need the tight end position, especially as effective as Jack Velling was during his Oregon State career, an all Pac-12 performer. When you get him one-on-one with linebackers and safeties, he's a mismatch.
Go to Nate Carter, pumps off the initial man, wants the edge, wants a little more. Just a good job to make something out of what was initially looking like nothing there for Nate Carter. Looks like there is a flag on that far side of the field.
Late flag comes in.
Yeah, pretty close to where the tackle was made, too.
An opportunity at the TFL. Just wasn't able to finish the play.
Personal foul. Illegal blindside block. Offense, number 74. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Remains 2nd down.
I wish this rule existed when I was playing, Jason, because when you would chase the football toward the sideline, you had to have your head on a swivel because there was always some other offensive player waiting to peel back and take you out as a defender. You're just minding your own business, trying to chase the football sideways and make a tackle.
And that penalty is noteworthy because it was Gavin Brocious who was called for it, and Christian Phillips is out. So Brocious had to step in. We weren't quite sure who would take that right guard role. Could be somewhat of a revolving door today. 2nd and 23. Deep shot for the end zone. Touchdown! They get it all back. Jerron Glover, a chance to tie the game with the extra point.
A moment where Michigan State fans have been waiting. I'm sure for them it feels like eons, but it's really been a week to watch their quarterback, Aiden Childs, connect on the deep ball. The opportunities have been there. The receivers have found their way behind the coverage on frequent occasions. Now they have finally been able to make one happen.
Glover's first touchdown grab of the season, 34 yards. And the second Michigan State drive for Jonathan Smith and his crew that goes 75 yards or more. First one was 84 yards. This one 11 plays, chewed nearly 6 minutes off the clock. See, make sure he has possession to the tail end as there was an effort, a late effort from Jalen Husky, but it didn't look like he held on all the way through to complete the grab. And now Jonathan Kim will come out for the extra point, a big one, that goes through to tie this game up at 14 apiece.
Impressive effort so far from Aiden Childs, Brian Lindgren, the wide receivers for the Michigan State Spartans. Connecting on the deep ball has been a storyline early in this season. Michigan State fans have been waiting. The exhale finally comes.
Jerron Glover's first touchdown grab of the season, and it ultimately ties up the game for Michigan State. Aiden Childs didn't hit on the deep balls last week, but Anthony, the confidence to keep throwing them today, as this is our advanced stat sponsored by IFS.ai.
1 out of 4 in today's game after 0 for 7 last week. But when that one puts 6 on the board from downtown, it is quite a moment for Aiden Childs.
Jonathan Kim will kick it off. Braden Wisloski will take it out. A little hesitation there, then got cut down at the 10. Kind of hesitated. Marsh was back to make that tackle. There's a flag. Willie brings him down, and we'll see what this flag is. Multiple flags out there.
Clinic-worthy kickoff coverage from Ade Willie to be able to get there. Got into the avoid zone, did exactly what you want to do, working around a blocker around midfield, then burst to finish at the tackle.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both on the return team. Holding, return team number 41. Penalties decline. Personal foul, illegal blindside block. Return team number 17. Half the distance to the goal from the end of the run, first down.
All right, that's looking to set Maryland back for now. Let's go to Dave for an update on Washington.
What up, Dave?
Hey, guys, the Huskies are on the board. You guys had the deep touch in your game. Washington got one as well. Will Rogers to Decker DeGraff, tight-roping it. Second straight week with a touchdown catch for the freshman. 7-3, Washington.
Thanks, Dave. And one of my favorite parts of week 1 was seeing all the videos of Dubs, the Husky, out in Seattle. I mean, just as cute as can be, trotting around.
So I take it you're a dog person?
I am. Huskies in my favorite territory. Samoyeds are my personal favorite.
Yeah.
Large, fluffy, could be in that category, but aren't. They're from Siberia, fun fact.
It's not really Girl Scout cookie time of year yet, though. So what now?
You didn't have to go there.
I've never heard of that term. I don't know what you mean.
Hemby gets up near the 20-yard line. And this Maryland offense now trying to regroup. Jordan Turner with the tackle there after a gain of 7.
It's where the experience of Billy Edwards can certainly be a factor. Yes, the full-time starter for the first time this season in week 2, but he's been through tough Big Ten competition before.
This time they bring in Colby McDonald, who got some time last week as well. Let's go down to Kylan.
Offensive coordinator Josh Gattis says one thing that stands out about quarterback Billy Edwards Jr. is his football IQ. Another thing is his leadership. Gattis says that Edwards spends hours watching film. He always has his head down taking notes. Edwards knows how to execute the system with command and allows the staff to get creative. Edwards told me picking the brain of his roommate, defensive back Dante Trader, has made a big difference. Edwards asks what he sees from the other side of the ball, and Trader will tell him how he reads the quarterback, how he determines what Edwards will do, and utilizes that to translate to what he does in game.
Thanks, Kylan. Really good stuff. Billy Edwards faced with another third down here. They've been really successful on third down so far today. That success is going to continue with a nice run from McDonald. Another back in this slew of people they can put in the backfield behind Edwards.
Maryland now 6 out of 7 on third down, and that one, you saw the bounce to the outside, forcing the defense to get nosy, pressing the hole vertically, and then that jump cut to get lateral and move the sticks.
To piggyback off Kylan's point, Billy Edwards is also meeting with Coach Loxley, as she mentioned, after practice each day. He gets pressured here and brought down. It in the backfield is Bogle. Had a sack a week ago, another one this week.
Between the two defensive fronts, the more impactful consistently throughout the game today has been Chris Bogle, working from the left edge out of that two-point stance. They tried the trap protection to pull around and get to him. Isaac Bunyan couldn't get there. Running back position had no chance against Bogle.
Bogle, a 60-year player, 5 tackles a week ago. He's quite the student in the film room as well, in there all the time. See Josh Gattis, the offensive coordinator for Maryland. On 2nd and 19, Edwards keeps it, gets hit. Jordan Turner with the tackle, one of the Michigan State captains, transferred from Wisconsin. And now again, Maryland's been good on third down, but this is going to be 3rd and about 12 here coming up.
Philosophically, one thing Mike Loxley talks about is really preferring that, especially in a scenario like that, his quarterback will lower his head to actually pick up the yards moving forward, as opposed to, there were at times Billy Edwards had some awkward slides last week where he got hit, picked up a flag, but you don't want your quarterback taking those kind of shots.
3rd down snap, well protected over the middle. They'll have to create some yards after the catch, and it's closed down quickly. Angelo Gross with the initial hit on Ty Felton. That'll shut down this drive for Maryland and force the punt.
Get behind the chains, via the sack, penalty yardage, things of that ilk that didn't really curtail anything Maryland was trying to do last week. Now here in week 2 in Big Ten competition, you see what a difference it makes. This Spartan defense showed up to play.
Brings out Bryce McPherson. 5 of his 6 punts a week ago were down inside of the 20. He's trying to kind of flip the field here. Line drive boot back inside of the 20. Can get another one here to roll down. It will not. Goes into the end zone with 5:25 to go in the opening half. Both sides scored on their opening drive. It's been entertaining since. Big Michigan State drive coming up. Today's Old School feature brought to you by Old National Bank, taking Spartan fans back to the 2014 Rose Bowl against Stanford. Rose Bowl number 100, Connor Cook at QB. Tony Lippett on the catch there, the no-fly zone. That secondary that was so good, 24-20 final. And Coach D'Antonio hoisting that trophy that he wanted so much for the Spartan program during his tenure, inducted into the 2024 class Rose Bowl Hall of Fame. You see LaMichael James, Reggie Bush. Now, I guess you could say also a part of Big Ten schools in USC and Oregon, as well as Childs goes over the middle. Oh, that was dangerously in and out of the hands of Marsh. Could have nearly been picked off. Jalen Husky got his hands on it, and he wants it back. As you see Jonathan Smith, speaking to Coach D'Antonio, he's been texting with Coach D'Antonio has received some great input, mentorship, advice on taking over this program. One of the reasons he wanted to do it is because of the history and culture that Coach D'Antonio set with Rose Bowls, Big Ten titles, lots of Big Ten wins. This is Coach Smith's first Big Ten Conference game as head coach of Michigan State. And his offense back out there on what could be a big drive with 5 minutes to go in this opening half. Again, both teams scored on their opening drives. Glendon Miller had an INT for Maryland that resulted in a quick two-play touchdown drive. Spartans answered. Now a big third down.
What we've seen so far on Maryland's side of things, their pass rush has been inconsistent, and on the back end, the Michigan State receivers haven't had much trouble getting behind this Terp secondary.
Timeout called by Michigan State, their first. We'll be right back here at College Park.
To give Coach Smith the game ball.
Hey.
First victory of the Spartans.
Hey.
Let's go get another one now. Let's go get another one. Hey, family of three. 1, 2, 3.
First win and first celebration after win for head coach Jonathan Smith. You see the history at Oregon State from 2018 to 2023. Anthony, you've covered him since his Oregon State days, and beyond that, the imprint he's having already feels similar, like the culture he's trying to build, similar to what Mark D'Antonio did.
A very steady demeanor that he infuses into every team he's been around, both as a head coach and an offensive coordinator. He was the same way as a quarterback at Oregon State back in the day.
Rain starting to come back down on 3rd and 7. A throw that may have been tipped. Wanted Montorie Foster, but the ball was never close.
And I think it was a miscommunication as well between Aiden Childs and Nick Marsh. What I like about it is that Aiden Childs was getting the football out of his hands in rhythm with anticipation, but where he ends up throwing the football was not where his intended receiver was running his route.
And you see talking it over there with Foster now on the sideline. So again, that communication, of course, it's a work in progress. A lot of new faces coming together. Montorie Foster is a guy who stayed for Michigan State, 5th-year senior from Cleveland. But right now, the Spartans will kick it back to the Terrapins. And Wisloski watches that roll out of bounds. We'll be right back from College Park. Billy Edwards back out. Maryland with all 3 timeouts. And remember, new to college football this year, the 2-minute timeout as well at the end of each half. So that is on the horizon. Spartans have 2 of their timeouts. So theoretically, plenty of time for both sides if the Spartans were to make a stop or for Maryland to have a drive down the field here. Knotted up at 14. Out in space on the edge is Felton. Got hit there out on the perimeter. Cal Halliday and Nakai Martinez came out to make the play. But tackling Ty Felton in space going to be easier said than done.
Why did it just call the 2-minute warning? I don't know.
It's a polarizing topic.
Yeah.
It's a polarizing topic.
I don't get it. Is there a trademark or something? I don't know.
You carve out your own path in life, Anthony, as you have done so well. And that's what college football is doing as well. Up the middle goes Nolan Ray. He's been carving out his own path and role in this Maryland offense through about a game and a half so far. 8 of 5.
One thing Josh Gaddis talked to us about was just trying to make sure that he's doing what he can to get enough touches to all the wide variety of playmakers that they have access to with this Maryland offense. You know, the stud last week was Ty Felton, but Caden Prather, he can be extremely effective when he gets the football. Dylan Wade, Preston Howard. Nolan Ray was electrifying in limited touches as well.
Maryland 6 of 8 on 3rd down. And a wildcat formation there. Flags go flying. Wade fell down. Michigan State was a little confused.
Offense, number 0. 5-yard penalty remains 3rd down.
Michigan State was confused. Now, in theory, what you can do there, because, you know, as a teammate, you are allowed to move forward prior to the snap. He could take a small step and then just get reset. Now, that's a scenario that, if you're not a true quarterback, it's hard to expect that.
So they go back to their true quarterback here on 3rd and 6. Billy Edwards back on the field. Felton in motion. Edwards with a really good pocket, flip it out. Trying to work on the perimeter again. Really good tackle out on the edge to stop a potential first down. It's the veteran corner, Ed Woods, who transferred from Arizona State, that made the play.
Coming up, securing the tackle without drawing a penalty flag. That allows you to get off the field as a defense.
Now, Montorie Foster back to return this punt. Bryce McPherson, really good job from the Spartan defense there to buckle down. Clock ticking at 2:35. Spartans with still the 2 timeouts and the, as Anthony mentioned, polarizing 2-minute timeout on the horizon. Foster will fair catch it at about his own 15, about his own 12. We'll be right back in 15 seconds. Tuesday, women's volleyball comes your way when the second-ranked Huskers battle in-state rival Creighton. Coverage begins at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, only on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. In-state rivals going head-to-head there.
It's been a wild start to the season, man.
Now plenty of time for Aiden Childs and the Spartans offense, but a long field to go. Nate Carter gets bottled up. They've had long fields to go on each of their 2 scoring drives, both of which are 75-plus yards, and a good chunk of time eaten off the clock. We have had a battle in this Big Ten Conference opener, the first conference game in the entire Big Ten. We hit the 2-minute timeout, tied up 14-14. We'll be back. An important final 2 minutes coming up from College Park. Time for our first half check-in, sponsored by Allstate. You're in good hands with Allstate. See here our first half check-in. So time of possession kind of jumping out for Maryland. It's almost felt like Michigan State has had the ball longer. It's really been 2 drives that have eaten up most of that chunk of time you see there.
Both offenses have shown some control to them. It's a nice gear for Michigan State, keeping Maryland's defense off balance.
2nd and 10 for Childs. Quick throw. That's been one place where they've had success. The quick throws go to Jerron Glover this time, who had a touchdown catch earlier in the game of 34 yards.
It's almost surprising how much the approach of Michigan State's offense does mirror what we're seeing from Maryland.
Would you run it here as they call a timeout here on this upcoming 3rd and 3?
Ryan Seacrest style. Tell you in a moment.
Thrilling.
I would throw a controlled pass, Jason Ross.
Your thoughts deserve time, Anthony. They do. 3rd and 3 coming out for the Spartans. Childs still has it. There's a flag that comes out very quickly. Where they marked him, it looks like it'll be a first down, but we'll see what this flag is for.
Offside. Defense, number 2, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty will result in a first down.
Let's go down to Kylan.
Guys, players tell me this team has full belief in quarterback Aiden Childs. Despite his own frustrations with his Week 1 performance, running back Kayron Lynch-Adams says he texted Childs after that game and told him just to keep his confidence up. Lynch-Adams says the players know it's a tough situation for a sophomore to take over an offense with new coaches, new schemes, and new players. Lynch-Adams says his teammates are reminding Childs, he's the leader. We need you to come out here and keep pushing.
That pass is incomplete. The mentality was take lessons from last week, let it fuel you, let it motivate you. Great support from his teammates and his veterans. That ball was nearly caught by Glover. He's looked much better. They've certainly kept the confidence in the play calling today with Childs.
I mean, he's 18 years old, voted a captain, a team he's been part of for a few months. Like, that just showcases how impressive his demeanor is and how it impacts those around him. Just saw an example of it there in the moment.
Really a galvanizing guy, infectious personality. Back to the air again as Montorie Foster out of his reach. Good play design, just couldn't quite execute it. It could have been big if they did.
At this age, to be a quarterback playing Big Ten football, yes, a lot of guys are physically talented, but the mental and emotional toll that's involved in trying to perform week in and week out is where a lot of the mileage ends up going on college football players, especially at the quarterback position.
Third down, if Maryland can get a stop, there would certainly still be time for their offense with the 2 timeouts. Speaking of timeouts, Spartans want to talk it over. They take their seconds, and we'll take one as well for a quick 30 seconds. Coming up, stick around for the halftime report sponsored by Old Trapper. Got a first half reaction. Dave, Ashley, Marcel in the studio. Anthony patiently and anxiously awaiting the Iowa-Iowa State update. Penn State sneaking out of there against Bowling Green. Talk about that one. But for now, a big third down. Only conference game in the Big Ten this week. Maryland and Michigan State. Childs trying to extend this drive with under 2 minutes to go in the half. And Velling hauled that in. But where do they mark it on the forward progress? That's going to be the question mark. It's right up at the yards again. They're moving the sticks. And it is going to be a first down. They needed 10, picked up 10. Spartans don't typically move with a lot of tempo, with time dwindling now. They're going to try to speed it up here. Childs sneaks out of the pocket. Improvising. Childs might have to go down here, and he does. So a lot of extending, and ultimately he goes down. Noteworthy that the Spartans burned a couple of their timeouts, so only one left. Here's a player down, and it is Kellen Wyatt for Maryland, a key part of their defense. Sometimes he lines up on the edge, listed as a linebacker, but he's a guy who, when he's out there, it feels like he's been starting for this defense for years.
As you watch Wyatt make an inside move on his pass rush, he's had a little additional shove from the offensive tackle, nothing illegal there. Like the lower body may have hyperextended a little bit as he was planting his foot. He immediately grabbed at the knee, started showing some frustration. It's good to see that he can at least work his way off the field under his own power. But like you referenced, a very versatile defender. He's had an outstanding offseason with Brian Williams and his Terps defensive staff.
One of the many DMV area natives on this roster, Maryland guy. So hope to see him come back in this game. As you mentioned, really good to see him walking off on his own power after kind of pulled up a bit there. Spartans ended up not technically losing anything on that lengthy scramble from Childs, who's now 119 yards through the air, 10 of 20. A couple of touchdowns. Late half situation for him. Remember, in the final 2 minutes, clock will stop with a change reset on a first down. Childs rolls out. Might have another first down here. They do. Montorie Foster able to haul it in. Gain of 14.
Some trust being shown by Jonathan Smith, allowing his young quarterback to operate as the half continues to tick away. And so far, there's a lot of control and composure being shown by Aiden Childs on this drive.
They don't feel sped up.
Right.
Pressure came off the edge. He got it away to Marsh, who had to extend to hold that in. They're going to mark this as a first down as well. A gain of 11 this time. Under a minute to go now.
Time remaining with a timeout to go to strike that balance for Michigan State. You can think touchdown at some point here, but certainly to be able to secure a field goal attempt is more than attainable.
The four-star recruit, Nick Marsh, having a day with Alante Brown injured. He's been working against Kevin Humes, another freshman. Have been keeping an eye on that battle. Spartans in plus territory. Another quick throw, another Nick Marsh catch. Up near what could be another first down, depending on where they mark it. 35 seconds and ticking. It is not a first down, so you see that clock moving. They picked up 9. They'll go to the ground here, try to get the first down. Looks like they will with Nate Carter. So keeping that one timeout in this tied game, and now the clock stops as they reset the chains, creeping up on the red zone. Childs back into the shotgun. Clock starts up again, ticking inside of 15 seconds in the half. Pressured from behind and dropped. And now, Ant, you got to either get up in there, spike it really quickly, or call this timeout.
That's certainly the detrimental thing about that sack. Now you're forced to utilize that final timeout because of the time that remains in the half. Huge pass rush there to be able to get home. A pass rush that throughout the first half has been inconsistent. When they had to have it, Brian Williams' defense able to get home.
A 55-yarder coming up for Jonathan Kim. Coaching staff told us they feel comfortable from as far as 58. This for the lead. And it is off the mark. There is a flag that came out, though.
Offside.
On the far
Defense,
side of the
22.
field.
5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
It's kind of a rough series for the Maryland secondary, both defensively and now in special teams. On a lengthy field goal attempt, I respect wanting to play hard in the field goal rush team. But Jalen Husky, you see him come off the right side, off that edge, way before the football even gets snapped. Goes into the backfield unabated.
Shave it down to a 50-yarder now. Trying to send Michigan State to the locker room with the lead is Jonathan Kim. This time, he's got it. And the Spartans on the road as the underdog will take a 3-point slim edge to the locker room in the Big Ten Conference opener for both of these teams and for the entire conference as a whole. It's the first lead of the day for Michigan State, and Jonathan Smith, their head coach, watches Jonathan Kim give him the lead.
Variety of self-inflicted wounds for Maryland throughout the first half, but a big kick by Kim with the second opportunity, closing out the half. A lot of response from Michigan State. Those two locker rooms, different vibes in each of them after their opening week efforts, but you're seeing that growth that we were talking about from week 1 to week 2, showing up big time for the guys from East Lansing.
Well, Dave, Marcel, Ashley are in the studio in Chicago. Coming up, stick around. The aspect that you could have wanted in this game has really presented itself. Thought we could have a close one, and we've got a 3-point game at the half with Michigan State set to return this kickoff. Isaiah Johnson on your screen there, back to return with Alante Brown out. He's taking that spot, and he will take this kick out of the end zone. Nice little stutter step, but some good coverage from Maryland, so this drive will start at the 15. Now time for our unleaded 88 QB comparison. So far, the two guys, Aiden Childs, Billy Edwards, both first times being the guy for their teams this year. What'd you think of the first half, both sides?
Edwards, extremely efficient, accurate with the football, looked very composed. Aiden Childs, they're doing a nice job moving him around in and out of the pocket. I wouldn't mind seeing the legs of Billy Edwards become a bigger factor in Maryland's offense.
We know he can do it. We know both of these quarterbacks can use their legs. Michigan State had some good clock management down the stretch in the first half. They go to Nate Carter on the opening play of the second half. Chunk plays have been the name of the game dating back to the late stages of that first half.
Nate Carter, not necessarily a guy who frequently bounces the football laterally, but you can tell Michigan State throughout the first half, and it continues here, the initial series of the second half, the running backs are sort of barreling themselves initially into the teeth of the defense as they press that hole and then bouncing it outside. It takes advantage of the alignment of the Terps defensive front.
Nate got married in the offseason, big offseason for him, and trying to prove himself this year. His QB Childs, little nifty move there to keep the play alive, then threw it to the sideline, and we'll have a question mark of whether or not that was picked off in bounds. The Maryland sideline thought it was. Donnell Brown was over there. It is incomplete. Spartan will take back over here.
We saw an inaccurate pass in the first half from Aiden Childs that led to that first interception he threw. This is truly the worst decision Aiden Childs has made so far, though. And yes, the defender came down out of bounds, so it's a proper call by the officials, but get a chance to throw that out of bounds. You just got to make sure there's no chance anyone's going to touch it.
The heel was definitely out of bounds. 3 on the play clock as they make an adjustment on 2nd and 10. Kayron Lynch-Adams, the back now. Tough to bring down initially, but the Maryland defense swarms. Tommy Aking-Basote really worked on his flexibility and agility in the offseason. You see it playing a role there to set up 3rd and 10.
Quality pursuit by the Maryland defense, and you can do that, especially throughout the second half. It matters when you play more bodies. It allows more defenders to continue playing with energy and urgency as the game wears on.
Spartans backed up on the side of the Maryland band. You see Kellen Wyatt back in with the brace on his knee now after he was dinged up in the first half. Good protection. Maryland only rushes 3. That is caught by Jerron Glover. Where do they mark it? They mark it for a first down. So you needed 10, you pick up 13. Go to Glover. He had the 34-yard touchdown catch in the first half.
There's just not a lot of rerouting happening within the Maryland secondary. The pocket continues to be clean. Aiden Childs is just looking very comfortable and composed because not only is he not under any physical duress from the pass rush, he's frankly not under that much mental duress from the coverage.
Has looked so much more comfortable this week than last week. Kayron Lynch-Adams had a big run last week. Breaks through the first level this time and gets inside of the 40, down to the 35. He's so tough to bring down when he gets past that initial burst. Man, he's got so much speed after that.
Outstanding combination of both speed and power. When he breaks through the first level, after what we saw last week, you think there's a chance he can go the distance every time he gets that to that second level.
He puts you on the edge of your seat. Gain of 23 that time. Little trickery here. They've worked on this in practice. It is Glover inside of the 30 and down to the 21-yard line. You like that, Ant?
I like that block by Aiden Childs. And the best part about it was that he made the decision not to try and impact the defender in a big way. All he needed to do was ward Lionel Whitaker away from that reverse that was coming around. So, I mean, you know, you could pick up a big collision, but then maybe you pick up a penalty flag for an illegal blindside block, which we've already seen thrown today.
Sets up 1st and 10 from the 21. Why not go to Kayron Lynch-Adams? Trying to break through the initial contacts, couldn't do so this time, and there's a flag that comes out. Ruben Hippolyte made the tackle, one of their leaders at linebacker.
Holding, offense, number 66, 10-yard penalty from the previous line of scrimmage, remains first down.
It's one of the difficult things when you have drives that are sustained, that take snap after snap. Aston Lepo ends up picking up the penalty flag. There's the defender tries to disengage. But when you're not picking up big chunk plays, your drives take maybe double-digit in the amount of snaps, as an offense, you really have to be efficient. You have to execute at a high level every single play. Now
sets him back to 1st and 20. Again, good protection for Childs. Wants the end zone with Masunis, and was that picked off inbounds? Looks like this time it was from Jalen Husky.
Interception, 1st and 10. Timeout on the field.
This is the second interception that Aiden Childs has thrown when he made the proper read. He's going to the proper place with the football and just throws an errant pass. The pocket is clean. He's thinking 6 the entire way, and the ball sails over the opposing shoulder where it should have been going down the middle to Michael Masunis.
We'll be right back in College Park.
(17-14) the score back in College Park. Michigan State had an opportunity as their young quarterback, Aiden Childs, was looking for 6. He drops back into the pocket. Michael Masunis on this scissors concept. As he's crossing the 10-yard line, he's expecting the ball to be up the seam over that left shoulder. The ball sails on Aiden Childs. Masunis tries to adjust, can't quite get there in time.
Billy Edwards' first pass of this Maryland series incomplete. You're right, it probably should have been a touchdown. Another element to that maturation of communication with new practically everything everywhere for Michigan State this year. 61 new faces, Aiden Childs being one of them, the captain that followed his head coach from Oregon State to East Lansing. We've seen the good glimpses as well today. The potential, the deep throws have connected at times. They wanted another one, it didn't work out. Now Edwards going to the air, this time himself. Down the sideline, it's hauled in. A big play to set up in plus territory for the Terps, and look who it is, the man you pointed out in the open, Ty Felton.
Well, this is probably the best coverage that Billy Edwards has dropped a ball into on any of these pass attempts to Ty Felton. Every time where the coverage is tighter, somehow Felton keeps coming up with it.
And now run up the middle for another first down and a big chunk. Maryland offense feeding off from one play to the next. Ty Felton, same story. A little slow to get up here, though.
That's a good sign. Down for a moment, able to work his way off the field. He's been banged up at various points throughout his Terrapins career. So our Michigan State defender. Just on the in cut, Edwards able to feed it to Ty Felton. Briefly juggled the ball for a moment there. So he got collisioned, heading down towards the ground. Double thumbs up.
Double thumbs up.
Yeah, Terp fans love seeing that.
Everyone around here loves Ty Felton. I had a chance to chat with him earlier this week. His mom, who is from Los Angeles, is a big Kobe Bryant fan, so she sends him motivational Kobe quotes before games. He's got the Mamba mentality today. Roman Hemby goes up the gut there. Ty Felton's quote this week that he loves from Kobe is, when you make a shot, what's the goal on your next shot? Kind of a mentality of not being complacent. And you see there, they go to him 2 plays in a row. He's always thinking about what he can do next for the Maryland offense. We'll see when he comes back in. Quick dart, and connects with Shalik Knotts. Trying to find some extra yardage, but this will be 3rd down coming up. They feel comfortable with their kicker, Jack House, from about 53 yards out. Down 3 right now, early stages, 3rd quarter. They'd love to get into the red zone and extend this drive.
We've seen early in this season, Michigan State's pass rush has been effective getting home, especially Ken Talley, towards the top of your screen, wearing 11 in the white jersey. Got a lot more run in their season opener than was anticipated. Made it pay off.
Maryland with 5 receivers in this set. Blitz off the edge from Gross, didn't get there. Now Edwards, you wanted to see more of his legs in the second half. He scoots out of bounds, short of the yard to gain when flying over to the sideline. So it is going to be short, and we'll see what Maryland opts to do here. Right now, Howes is trotting out onto the field in a special teams unit to tie the game.
I like the fact that that was a no call. Ken Talley got a push on Billy Edwards as he was approaching the sideline, but he was still clearly in bounds at that moment.
So Howes will come on to try to tie it from 40.
Some movement.
Delay of game.
They're not really pointing at each other, though.
5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
Push it back a little bit on the delay of game. Remember, when Michigan State was ending the half, Kim missed the 55-yarder. There was the penalty that was able to advance them 5 yards forward to make it a 50-yarder. Ended up giving Michigan State the lead. So now a penalty, interestingly, to set back Maryland here. And they'll have to do it from 45 this time. Howes is able to put it through. His first from 40 plus this season makes it a 17-17 game. Big Ten Conference opener for Maryland and Michigan State, all tied up. Football on the Big Ten Network is brought to you by Unleaded 88 and by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Michael Locksley told us it feels already like a new season when conference play starts. His group looking sharp there before the game. Making the walk-in for conference game at #1. They're looking good walking in. They're looking good in the stands. And I loved your shirt yesterday. You said, we need a bigger boat. And when conference play starts, you need a bigger boat.
No doubt.
Because there's more importance.
Coach Locke's looking good, walking in with his players wearing the suits. Not every team still does that. A lot of teams might walk in their sweats. It was fun talking to Coach Locks a little bit about his wardrobe as well, with all the weight that he's lost. He's kind of turned into a bit of a clothier. He'll just put some things on the rack on occasion, let the guys come in, some of the big fellas come in and grab some stuff. He's not a XXX anymore. I can respect that.
Well, he dropped a ton of weight. He said it was one of the sacrifices he made. He had each guy before the season write down what sacrifice they are making for the team this year. Whether that's not staying up late and playing video games or getting an extra workout in, whatever it might be, it's a collective team mindset to sacrifice. Quick pressure on Childs. Goes downfield. Was able to extend the play. He wanted Marsh. Couldn't connect with him. So for the Spartans now, they try to reset. Flag goes flying after the interception on the last drive.
Offense, number 66, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Big 10-yard penalty there. They got Ashton Lembo. Made his first career start last week at right tackle.
Both offensive lines, relative inexperience. It's a pretty cool move there. Great Childs, but as your quarterback is moving around, it can be difficult sometimes as an offensive lineman to still have the proper framework that you need in your pass protection set.
Backed up in front of the Maryland students and band. Childs trying to get out of that territory. Short completion to Glover. Jalen Husky, who had the interception on the last drive there on the tackle. He transferred from Bowling Green, who is a Maryland native, back in his home state. He was 2023 first team All-MAC. And that skill set is translated over pretty well to his first Big Ten Conference game.
Part of the philosophy that's being deployed by the Maryland secondary is to not get too exotic and just force Michigan State to drive the long field. Spartans haven't really been able to accomplish it consistently yet.
Saw Glover go under the tent there. We'll keep an eye on that. Childs steps up, has to go outside again this time. Tori Foster with the catch. Tackled by Perry Fisher. Fisher, the other new corner on this Maryland defense with Jalen Husky. had to replace that position in the offseason.
It's a balance for Brian Williams as a defensive play caller, because I'm sure there are fans out there tweeting at me right now like they need more pressure, they should blitz, confuse them, and guys are running open. That's true. Guys are open, but that doesn't always mean it's easy for the offense to execute play after play after play as long as you're in position to secure the tackle.
Childs down the seam, and it is hauled in. We'll see where they mark it. Right up near the yard to gain. It's Velling, who you wanted to see get involved. Whitaker brought him down. Velling a little slow to get up. They're starting tight end.
Injured player on the offense.
A stinger there for Velling.
He came down hard as he went airborne to bring the football in. And not only did he impact the ground with force, but then he had a defender landing on him as well in Lanai Whitaker.
The injury timeout will be extended for immediate timeout.
So we'll take a quick break and check on Jack Velling when we come back. Taking a look at the AP poll, all the Big Ten teams that are in it: Ohio State, Oregon, USC, Iowa, Michigan, Penn State. In action today, saw Penn State get out of there against Bowling Green. Michigan goes down, have to bounce back. Yep. USC with the dream start last week.
4 returning starters in Ann Arbor. Knew that was going to be a tough task for them this early against Texas.
Right now, there are counterparts in the state of Michigan in a battle with Maryland, 17-17. Whitaker came back to make the play. He's really stepped up on the last couple. We'll see if Jack Velling comes back in. There he is. So let's check in with Kylan.
Michigan State tight end Jack Velling slow to get up after that last catch. He did have a brief conversation with head coach Jonathan Smith. He was checked out by the training staff, but then got up and got off the field on his own accord, was high-fiving some of his teammates, kind of laughing, saying, yeah, I just got my bell rung, but I'm just fine.
He's back in. They go the direction of the field he was on. Able to target Foster that time, who's had some big plays in this game. Now we'll see what Michigan State goes to on this upcoming third down.
Who emerges in the Maryland pass rush? Get home and get after Aiden Childs in the pocket. We've seen his ability to extend the play at times. An empty backfield set now for the Spartans.
Spartans are 7 of 9 on third down today. Been a strong suit in this offense. Childs going to try to run for it. See where they mark him. He needed 9. And at the moment, it appears to be just short by about a yard. So decision time here.
See, I wonder how Jonathan Smith will coach that up after the game. Because most coaches, especially offensive-minded coaches, they don't want their quarterback taking a bunch of extra hits. But on third down at the -45, Aiden Childs has an opportunity to dive, to lower his shoulder, something along those lines. He stretched the football out, but there was more of a chance if he would have taken a big impact to maybe actually move the chains.
So they opt not to go for it. Instead, bring out Ryan Eckley, who's got a huge leg.
Delay of game. Offense, number 96. 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
The offense didn't want to leave the field, Jason, so that ends up leading to a delay of game penalty. They're standing out there. Special teams are running onto the field. They're waving them off. They're pointing to the coaches. They're yelling and gesticulating. In the end, it ends up leading to a penalty flag.
I wonder who gets hit with that in the film room.
Delay of game on the entire 11-man offense.
I like it. Okay. Braden Wisloski back to return. And that sails over his head. And into the end zone. Still to come, number 2 Ohio State on Big Ten Network tonight battles Western Michigan under the lights at the Shoe. Then Miller Moss leads 13th ranked USC into their home opener against Utah State. All in the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Looking at some of the finals around the Big Ten so far, 77 from Indiana. Northwestern lost that thriller in OT. Rutgers with a 49 spot. Minnesota dominant day, and we mentioned earlier Michigan going to try to bounce back after that loss to Texas. A lot of turnover in Ann Arbor, and it was a tall task today going up against the Longhorns. Back here in College Park, the site of the first Big Ten Conference game of the season. A little trickery downfield, and that ball was intercepted, but will they call it out of bounds? Martinez had an interception last week.
That was so well defended by that Spartan secondary.
And Octavian Smith throw it. Officials coming together to converse on this last sequence. Martinez thought he had a pick.
Pass interference. Defense, number 0. 15-yard penalty from the previous line of scrimmage. Automatic. First down.
Charles Brantley was in great position. After the ball is thrown backwards, in the secondary, see he's got eyes in the backfield right there. He sees the pass is thrown backwards, so he gets into his speed turn. He is right there with Ty Felton, but especially as the ball's in flight, continues to contact the wide receiver well beyond that 10-yard mark.
Brantley matched up against Prather this time at the top of your screen. Billy Edwards guided this Maryland program to the Music City Bowl victory over Auburn, won the starting job. Now his first Big Ten start really as the guy for this team, and he steps up the middle there, a willing runner. 4-0 as a starter, filled in for Talia Tagovailoa in the past. Mentioned the bowl game as well. Virginia native, so a DMV guy, much like a lot of these players. So he's been, despite not being the starter, working out with these players for the last 3 years in the offseason, even when he wasn't the starter.
Represents the V in the DMV, where Mike Locksley and his staff have really been trying to get more of a foothold.
Go to the ground, flying into the backfield was JT Jordan Turner. They got to call him JT because they got multiple Jordans back there. Jordan Hall is one of the linebackers as well, but Jordan Turner, who transferred back to his home state, Farmington Hills, Michigan native, with a big play there.
Being able to penetrate into the backfield in that way. This is a called run blitz, so he is one-on-one in the backfield with Nolan Ray, able to make it happen.
He comes out hyped up after that play. Linebacker core, defensive coordinator Joe Rossi from Michigan State feels like it's the strongest, it's the deepest he's ever coached. Big 3rd and 6 for the Michigan State defense. Edwards trying to extend the drive, gets Felton in space. That's worked out a few times today. Picks up a first down out to the 50-yard line.
I love the eyes of Billy Edwards. It's shown up in both games so far this season. Him manipulating coverage from in the pocket, surveying over the interior, and then quickly darting over to the right side. So he's knowing the entire way that Ty Felton is his #1 option within this route tree. The whip route comes back inside, but the reason the coverage is expanded is because of the work Billy Edwards does with his eyes.
There's Chance Rucker, one of the key cornerbacks for Michigan State. Houston, Texas native, returning starter, a guy who got thrust into a lot more experience than anticipated last year as a true freshman. And now a big role in the defense this season, a DB group that's already a little banged up with Dylan Tatum out potentially for the season. Dylan Tatum. Good to see Rucker moving with his own weight there.
You referenced the secondary here, the way that their depth is already being tested this early in the season. Just body after body going down. The DBs mean a lot in Joe Rossi's defense because of the level of versatility they end up having to deploy. He's not a big blitz guy, but when he does, the DBs are part of that action.
Both of these teams off to 1-0 starts. Went over UConn here last week for Maryland. Different challenge today for Billy Edwards in this offense. The pressure got there for Michigan State. Big Dequan Dowse and Jordan Turner in the backfield.
See some of the versatility. The player who was formerly in the secondary in Darius Snow, but now is working as a linebacker, but he can play that hybrid sort of role that's now going to really have a big role in this defense.
Son of former Spartan basketball player Eric Snow.
Right.
Had a good NBA career. Quick throw, out of the edge, a quick hit made in space. That is Charles Brantley.
Maybe a little frustration being let out there by Charles Brantley on that hit. He's had a few penalty flags in the game today. He's been attacked in coverage a little bit. But as a defensive back, when you're facing this Maryland offense, you got to know there are going to be times where you are under fire, but you've got to keep your game face on.
Spartans make a switch out on that edge at the top of the screen. With the linebacker Wayne Matthews in coverage. Edwards goes to the crossing route with Caden Prather. Looks like he has enough to keep this drive going.
All those bodies crossing across the middle of the formation. They're going man coverage on the inside. You got a twist up with games going on the interior. Routes crossing in a scissors concept at the second level. When you're in man and you got all those bodies running into each other, it's really difficult to stay with your coverage.
Prather had 6 catches, 60 yards last week. Another good week for him. More screen work on the outside. He told us we would see quite a bit of this, and you could see quite a bit of it throughout the course of the season, trying to set up blocks on the perimeter. Van Sumeren made the tackle for Michigan State. Maryland won this matchup 31-9 last year. A lot of these Spartan faces weren't on that team. It's a turn of the page into a new era for Michigan State. For Maryland, kind of that hurdle in the past has been Michigan and Ohio State on their schedule. Those teams aren't on their schedule with the expanded conference this year. But still a challenging schedule nonetheless. But starts today with this Big Ten matchup. Go right into the teeth of the defense. Dequan Dowse there again to try to stand up the running game.
One of the more methodical drives we've seen from Maryland so far in this ball game. And my sense is it's starting to test the patience of Joe Rossi a little bit. There have been a few times where the safety position has inserted itself into the play with more urgency.
It's kind of looked like the Michigan State offensive drives that have led to touchdowns. Could be the final play of the third quarter if they want it to be. Opt to run it, set up some good blocks, which should be a first down heading into quarter 4. Nolan Ray in his first Big Ten game. A Michigan native playing against a school that he grew up watching. Picks up the first down. We're going to head to the fourth quarter, tied in the Big Ten Conference opener for these two teams and the entire conference, right here on Big Ten Network. $17 apiece, fourth quarter. Let's go down to Kylan with Coach Loxley.
Coach, tie ball game heading into the fourth quarter in what's been a classic Big Ten battle. Where is this game going to be won and lost?
Hey, yeah, good old-fashioned Big Ten battle, tied here in the fourth quarter. I like the way the momentum for us is starting to swing. We've had 2-3 good series of defense, and now on the offensive side, you know, the run game has been hit or miss, but we're starting to see some of the effects of us just staying and sticking with the run game, and then we got to hit the shots off of it.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
I love what Kylan said there, a classic Big Ten battle. 17-17, conference opener, fourth quarter, here we go. Billy Edwards might have a touchdown here, he does! Blown coverage on the back end, Maryland takes advantage and finds the end zone with Dylan Wade.
gorgeous play design that leads to this touchdown. Because you'll see multiple bodies run on in cuts at the wing position and the wide receiver position, bringing that man coverage of Michigan State from one side of the field all the way across multiple hash marks. That left Dillon Wade all alone.
They go to their most athletic tight end to cap off an 80-yard, 10-play drive. Icing on the cake with the extra point from Jack House.
On display is the seasoned veteran at quarterback, first full season as a starter, is Billy Edwards, but the play design from Mike Locksley and Josh Gaddis getting it done in College Park. It's a one-score lead for Maryland, and that score came by the way of the touchdown. Look at the linebacker here, Darius Snow. He's going to get caught in the sauce because he's collisioned by the in cut. He's in man coverage responsibility on the tight end out of the backfield, Dillon Wade. And because his eyes are in the backfield while he's in man, as soon as he takes that shot, the angle has to be perfect. He didn't get into a speed turn like his old school DB days. That allowed a wide open throw and catch from Edwards to Wade.
Maryland will kick this one away. Aaron Lynch-Adams, watch that hit the end zone. Let's take a quick break, go to the studio. A little update with Dave.
All right, Jason, it's our goal to keep Anthony updated on the Cyhawk. Caleb Johnson, another huge game, up to 167 yards and 2 TDs, but the Hawks up 19-7, but Iowa State responded, 75-yard TD, and they are driving again, guys.
Oh, boy.
Did your heart rate just go up? Not only because this game's close, but he got some ties elsewhere also.
I mean, Caleb Johnson in a very deep Iowa backfield. He's the best back they have. It's a good thing for the Hawkeyes. He's having a big day.
Crowd starting to ramp it up here in College Park, understanding the importance of every Michigan State offensive drive now, trying to implore their defense to a stop. Childs, deep shot, wants Marsh. He has him in stride. Nick Marsh, the freshman star for Michigan State, creating a name for himself on the fly in his first Big Ten game.
With Kellen White back onto the football field, he drops back into coverage, so they ran a movement stunt up front, bringing additional blitzers from the wide side of the field. Aiden Childs has to stand into this pocket under duress, delivers it to his freshman wideout, hitting Nick Marsh right in stride. It's the biggest pass of the day from Childs.
57 yards. They wanted to see Marsh emerge today, and he has done just that. Spartans knocking on the door again. Flag before they could even get into the motion there.
False start. Offense, number 65. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Each team has really suffered from these moments. Ill-advised penalty, the ill-timed penalty flag being picked up. Several of them on the Spartans offensive line.
Up until that point, it was 7 penalties for each side. Now it's 8 for Michigan State. Back them up to 1st and 15. Nate Carter held up in the backfield. Right there to make the play was Kellen Wyatt.
It's a big deal for the depth of that front 7.5. Wyatt back on the football field. A player who plays really well in space. He's been an emerging talent for them for several seasons. It's the most formidable, most physical front 7 that they've had since Mike Locksley has been here.
Led the Terps in sacks last year, took off the brace, now just has that sleeve on the arm that got a little banged up. Childs will step up and go to the ground. So once again, the Maryland defense and the interior looking good.
And the difference, you compare it with the offensive series for the Terrapins, when some additional pressure came, Maryland happened to be in the perfect offensive call with crossers coming against man coverage. That time Maryland went man across the board, brought blitz pressure from Brian Williams, but most of the routes for Michigan State were working vertical. There was nowhere for Childs to go with the football.
Daniel Owens getting a bunch of love from his teammates. 3rd and 19. Childs, that ball is available. Who has it? Maryland appears to have possession, and they do. Another critical mistake for Michigan State, and the Terps are going to take back over. 3rd Spartan turnover. It's been the difference in the game. Miller came around. He had the interception earlier.
When the game enters cold crush depth, you either feel pressure or you apply it. And we are seeing the pressure of this game in College Park being ramped up by the Maryland defense in the pocket under heat. Maryland able to snatch it away from MSU.
So back after the turnover, 3rd of the day for Michigan State. And Anthony, this is going to be called an interception for Glendon Miller, his 2nd of the day. Watch, no one really knocked his ball out, and then Glendon Miller just pops up, snatches it out of the air.
You add the secondary into the blitz package. We used to call this the follow stunt, where you have a DB running behind one of the blitzing players from the front 7.
Caden Prather makes the catch on the outside for the Maryland offense. That now takes over with the intentions of trying to make it a 2-possession game. Mentioned Maryland had 76 points off forcing turnovers a season ago. They've got 10 today off those 3 turnovers for Michigan State. Now all Aiden Childs can do is hope that his defense gets a stop, and he gets another opportunity to try to tie the game, which it looked like Michigan State was going to have a chance to do, knocking on the red zone door. Dump it off underneath. Good tackle from Cal Halliday, the gloveless linebacker, as he brings down Colby McDonald.
It's funny because Cal Halliday's been getting called a throwback since he was in high school. He's just been one of those kind of guys, you know, no sleeves, no gloves, no flair, no frills, but all kinds of tackles. I mean, a record-setting career that he's on pace for as a linebacker for the Spartans.
Well, his new defensive coordinator, Joe Rossi, who was the DC in Minnesota the last few years, said, we used to joke about you, like, who's this dude with no gloves when we turn on the film? Now he's coaching him. 3rd and 5. Edwards looking tall in the pocket, finds the route over the middle. Another crosser. Those have been really producing. Ty Felton again.
We were just talking about Cal Halliday, and in Cal Halliday's mind, I'm sure he thought he was in perfect position for the coverage responsibility. He starts off in the slot, drops over the middle, but then somehow Billy Edwards fits the football over the shoulder of Cal Halliday, but then in front of the safety. He was able to turn the nose of the football over in a really rapid manner.
Right back to the air, dangerously deflected. Was that intercepted? It was. Spartans take it right back, and it is Charles Brantley who's able to scoop that up off the turf. What a play from Brantley, and all of a sudden the momentum swings again in this matchup.
The way the football caromed, because of the velocity that Billy Edwards threw with, this was a hard, flat pass being thrown back into the sun, a contested grab opportunity for Ty Felton. And so not only was it a difficult catch for Ty Felton because he's closer to the guy throwing the football, but then the carom, as the ball bounces, it's staying low as well. That is a spectacular catch from Charles Brantley.
What a game. This has been really fun to open up Big Ten play.
We are not done yet, partner.
Mason Ross Jr., Anthony Herron, Kylan Mills down on the sidelines. Spartans take back over. Maryland defense ready that time. So now how does Maryland respond?
The way that the stadium, that here at CQ, where the sun is fitting into the stadium right now, it even looked like on the Block M, there was one of the officials there that's got this really long, like old school cinematography type shadow. That's where the offense heading in that direction. Like right now, Michigan State will have an advantage working that way towards the sun.
Did you take a cinematography class?
I should have, man. I love movies.
K-Ron McAdams gets dropped there. Lovely dynamics of how you broke down the shadows in this stadium, which is interesting to tie into, though, because it's been an interesting weather day. It was raining, it was cloudy to begin the game. Now all of a sudden that's moved out, blue skies. But as you mentioned, those shadows having an effect in the passing game. 3rd and 7 on the horizon here.
Like an old spaghetti western from back in the day.
You're pulling out all the stops now. Giles, 3rd and 7 to the sideline, and that is incomplete. Spartans will bring out the punting unit.
If he can just get the ball to Nate Carter in a position where he's able to keep his momentum working up the field that much more, and we're talking fine details of these things, where you want that to time up in a way where the reception is made by the back before he gets all the way to the sideline, and as he can keep his momentum rolling up toward the first down marker.
Those are the tiny details that separate, as Kylan described it, what's been a classic Big Ten battle. Maryland nearly got to that. Kim did go down. No flags. This ball is rolling past Wisloski now very late. A flag came in from the near sideline. There's Eckley that went down, and we'll see what this flag is for.
Multiple flags down. I mean, like you referenced, Eckley definitely did get collisioned. And part of what they end up discussing in these scenarios is whether or not it was the plant leg or the follow-through leg to determine whether or not, how much jeopardy essentially they feel like the punter is in. The path of the oncoming rusher, was it taking him beyond the front path of the punter? Did the punter induce the contact?
On the play, both on the receiving team. Illegal formation. They're both on the kickers. Illegal formation, decline, personal foul, face mask on the kickers. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the kick. First down.
I was going to make one small correction on the punters. I mean, you are kicking the football when you punt, but
You've been very philosophical today. You texted me your philosophies yesterday. You moved to the suburbs. You've gotten philosophical.
Right.
I enjoy it.
I mean, Ryan Eckley, I'm sure he was hoping to be able to draw a flag. I'm confident that Jonathan Smith would have preferred the flag be on Maryland. But a lot of times the officials, and it is a bit of a judgment call, but if they feel like the punter has had an opportunity to, under control, punt the football away, and then in a controlled fashion, get that plant leg back down, then, it's not like you're never allowed to touch the punter. He's not defenseless anymore once they feel like he's got through his punting motion and he's under control. So the judgment of the officials in that case is that there was no flag warranted on the punt rush team.
Because of that, Maryland will start this next drive, a very important one, at their own 38. Both teams with all 3 of their timeouts, which could end up playing a big role down the stretch here in this exciting 4th quarter. Patiently picking through traffic there. There's Roman Hemby. Let's check in with Kylan.
Tell you what, guys, the defenses have really been dictating the momentum in this game. Early in that 3rd quarter, when Jalen Husky had that interception for Maryland, the bench went absolutely wild. The energy out here totally changed. Same thing when the defense was just able to force Michigan State to punt. The offense started going crazy. They all looked at each other and said, let's go. Let's finish the job as they went on the field.
Gashing another seam up the middle here, and what could be a first down, the market right at the yard to gain. To piggyback off Kylan, Michael Loxley said it's a new season. When conference play starts, they want to lift it off like a rocket. Right now trying to finish the job with 8 minutes to go. They will give them the first down.
Joe Rossi going with 2 deep safeties right now, allowing some coverage to roll here into the box so far throughout this quarter. When you have the light box, that's where Billy Edwards' experience in this offense, he can check to run.
He will keep it himself. Trying to reverse field, has to slide down. Gonna lose a couple of yards here. Is that an adjustment that you like, Anthony?
Well, defensively, you can tell that Michigan State doesn't want Maryland throwing the football over their head. They have to keep this a one-score game, as now we're passing the midway point of the fourth quarter. I do think situationally you'll still need to find some opportunities for aggression.
That's Jeremiah Hughes, who has come in depth at that DB spot. He is down on the field right now for Michigan State.
From a personnel perspective, to only be in the second game of the season and have this many bodies banged up in your secondary makes it a really difficult task for Joe Rossi, for Jonathan Smith, to continue just making sure they have the proper amount of guys who can perform at a high level for their DBs.
Good to see Hughes head off. Well, for the Maryland offense, Ty Felton's been excellent today. And he is our hardest working player, sponsored by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only paid for what you need. He's been catching balls from a guy who he played against in high school, in Billy Edwards. Now that could be a dynamic duo for this season on the Terp side of things.
Mike Locksley has been saying for years that there is big-time potential in Ty Felton. He had a strong finish to the season last year. He's gotten off to a hot start this.
Led the team in receiving last week, been big again this week, but his QB goes down quickly there, got it away, but good pressure up the middle. Anthony Jones in the mix along with Ken Talley.
Out of the wide variety of defensive linemen that they were excited about, Ken Talley was not one of the first names they mentioned coming through training camp. But here through 2 games, he's probably been sort of per capita, per snap on the field, their most consistently effective edge rusher.
There is some relentlessness around the edge from 11 and white. Ken Talley, like you said, bigger role than expected already for him.
Further review, the throwing on the field was an incomplete pass.
I think this makes sense. It's worth a look. In live action, my impression was that the officials made the proper call on the field here. They're going to review whether or not it should be ruled as an incomplete pass or as a fumble.
Under that umbrella of reviewable plays. So we'll see it again here when Talley comes around the edge. We're going to bring in Dean Blandino to get his thoughts on this. So, Dean, whether this was a fumble or a forward pass, what are your thoughts on the initial look here?
To me, this is a pass. You're looking at the hand coming forward with control, and that hand does start forward, and the ball is going to end up being incomplete. So to me, it is an incomplete pass. You also have potential. Maybe they're looking at targeting, but I don't see either player. They both are not to the head neck area. They get off to the side. So to me, the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass, no targeting, should stand here.
I agree with Dean. Even though Ken Talley, as he begins to collision Billy Edwards from the backside, the impact is coming before the ball leaves the hands of Billy Edwards. But the quarterback still, you can tell, maintains a level of control over the football in his hands before it leaves. That arm motion is going forward with still maintaining control of the ball. So I think this was the proper call on the field to rule it as an incomplete pass.
Jonathan Smith awaiting the call. Referee Jared McGinn. You see a look into Rosemont, the new Big Ten replay center.
I swear, that is the best looking sports bar anywhere in the greater Rosemont, Chicagoland area.
I think everyone in Rosemont would agree with you.
There better be pizza and wings and all kinds of stuff.
You gotta get the wings.
TVs, replays, all that stuff matters too. But you need nourishment in a place like that. With all that football available to you visually.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Incomplete pass, third down.
Incomplete pass. The wings and the sauce continue to be eaten in Rosemont.
Preferred sauce?
I was going to come at you with that question. I got to go with a honey, like a honey barbecue. That was my next one. You read my mind.
I mean, honey mustard, I'm fine with that. Honey is going to be on the table when we have wings together, is what I'm hearing.
Game days are back in the Big Ten. I love it. 3rd and 13 here. A big one in this conference opener. Edwards has a target, has a first down into Michigan State territory. Another big 3rd down completion to Ty Felton, who continues to cook. We called him our hardest working player. What a job there.
It's one of the things that Josh Gaddis as a play caller has always been so effective at, is finding those opportunities to attack up the rails. This offense has been excellent up the middle of the field in recent years, both with the tight end and wide receiver position.
Maryland's 5 of their last 5 on 3rd downs. Back to Felton. Why not? Trying to work his way through traffic. It's such a good way to pick up chunks on 1st down, too.
All right.
Felton emerges, brought down by Dowse. Approaching 6 minutes to go now. Boy, was that a big 1st down on 3rd and 13.
It's a good thing for Michigan State to see that hustle from Dequan Dowse. I'd say the interior led by Dequan Dowse, they've hit blocks effectively for Michigan State on some of these interior runs. I've looked at Dowse several different times. He's gotten into the block, hasn't gotten off the block to make the play as effectively.
And if you're Maryland, bare minimum, now you're in field goal range to possibly make it a 2-possession game. Edwards and the Terps thinking about 6. Jordan Hall makes the tackle. Let's go down to Kylan.
Wide receiver Ty Felton having a big game, and he says his secret to success this year has been positive self-talk. Felton says every week he writes down what it is he wants to accomplish or work on that week, and then he comes up with a phrase to say to himself several times every morning. For example, this week, pretty simple: I'm going to dominate Michigan State. My team is going to dominate Michigan State. Another one this week was, I am a child of God. Felton says reminding himself of those things helps instill self-belief, which leads to results on the field and in life.
Thanks, Kylan. We'll see what they do on 3rd down here. Opt to run it instead of going to Felton. Went with Hemby, and at the moment, they're marking it just short on that 3rd and 4 with 5 minutes to go and the clock moving.
It's a critical moment in the game and all, but I am kind of disappointed I didn't hear Kylan's preferred wing sauce. I mean, come back around to it later and all, but we thought we had something going there.
She was looking for the crab and cheese pretzel.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Here in College Park, that was their go-to today. Brings up 4th and 1, so Maryland will have to come out and kick that field goal to try to make it a 2-possession game. From 41, Jack Howes, really important field goal. It is off the mark. He missed it. So still remains a 1-possession game with under 5 to go. A lifeline for Michigan State. They take over when we come back. Football on the Big Ten Network is brought to you by Auto Owners Insurance. Conference opener for both teams, Michigan State and Maryland, first conference game of the season in the Big Ten as a whole, and we could have asked for a better matchup and a better game. 24-17, the latest elements of drama in this ongoing storyline that we've had a fun time watching and unfolding today is Maryland missing the 41-yarder to keep it a 1-possession game. A lifeline for the Spartans to take back over with under 5 to go, all 3 timeouts, and the 2-minute timeout. Nick Marsh is open downfield. They have him again. Big shot, big play for the freshman. "77 yards they go, and a chance to tie this thriller with the extra point.
Good hard run action from Aiden Childs back in a clean pocket. Play dialed up. Hey, freshman receiver. Go long, throw long.
One play, 77 yards. All it took was 11 seconds. All important extra point for Kim. in the blink of an eye, this game is tied. I would like to welcome those of you joining us from Washington and Eastern Michigan. We have had quite the game in the conference opener for Michigan State and Maryland, the latest of which a Nick Marsh, the standout freshman for Michigan State, a 77-yard grab from his new QB, Aiden Giles.
The extended opportunities for Nick Marsh in this game today after the injury to Alante Brown. We've seen Michigan State last week 0 for 7 on deep ball opportunities. They continue to go to that well over and over again. It went unrequited in week 1. Now in today's game, quite a response from Aiden Giles as a quarterback. 326 passing yards, 3 tugs. Now those 3 interceptions have certainly made this a little bit of a longer day than Jonathan Smith would like, but the response there from a young quarterback to a freshman wideout show the signs of things to come.
And then I'm going to let the people inside of the booth here. I mean, during the commercial break, you made a request. You manifested it out there for potential overtime. Then literally a play later, Michigan State goes 77 yards and ties the game.
I mean, it's just got overtime written all over it. You know, it's more of a prediction than anything. I'm willing to make my flight. I'm just saying, if I got to stay here for this, why not?
We don't need to make our flights. Watch some Big Ten football. This kick goes out of bounds, though. And that is going to give Maryland some yardage here. So not what you wanted for Michigan State.
Great kick.
Again, important at all 3 timeouts for both teams.
35-yard line on the right hash. 1st and 10.
Advances the Terps forward and all 3 timeouts for each of these teams and the 2-minute timeout.
The parry and thrust of this game has been remarkable because I would say each offense has had a very similar philosophy. Controlled passing attack, situational run game, and look for deep play opportunities. In the end, Billy Edwards has had more control over the full playbook, thrown with more composure. Man, Aiden Giles is talented.
They stretch it out. MSU defense was there and ready. Jordan Turner on the tackle. 24-24. You're right, Billy Edwards, the more experienced of the 2 QBs. Haven't had a shortage of deep yardage opportunities for both sides. Have not had a shortage of big plays on 3rd downs. But it was Maryland they were unable to convert on the 41-yard field goal attempt from Jack Howes that kept it a 1-possession game. Then Michigan State tied it. Edwards across his body this time to Caden Prather. Gets wrapped up and swung down by Malik Spencer. With 3:30 to go and ticking here in College Park.
Think of the situation that Billy Edwards finds himself in right now, where he's been the support system. In some ways, the emotional security blanket backing up Taulia Tagovailoa in moments just like this for years. Now this is his opportunity to seize this stage as the starter for the Terrapins.
He has operated so well on 3rd down today. The opt to hand it off. Spartan defense was ready. Malik Spencer in there again, leading the way. Now decision time.
Got to pump this football. The way you stack it up, Cal Haladay knocking blocks back at the point of attack. Teammates rallying to the football. Malik Spencer right there in the thick of everything.
So quick stop for the Spartan defense. McPherson, the transfer punter from Notre Dame, comes out from Maryland. Montori Foster back to
sideline warning. Michigan State, their first of the game. Next violation will result in a yardage foul. 4th down.
Penalties have been littered throughout the narrative for both teams today. Michigan State has 9 for 95. Again, the next one of those sideline warnings would lead to a yardage foul. For now, ball will remain the same spot here, and the punt coming from McPherson as the clock is ticking with 2:20 to go in the 4th quarter. Fair catch for Foster.
This is a day where early on, Billy Edwards and Ty Felton were linking up with the throw game, but there were great responses coming from Michigan State. Aidan Chiles has been in rhythm quite a bit. We've seen the legs of Billy Edwards not only moving the chains, but getting into the end zone. But Chiles has been seeing the field at a high level. It's been an offensive approach for Michigan State that looks pretty similar to what we're accustomed to seeing from Maryland. But this was the moment right here on the previous series that tied the game for MSU.
Aidan Chiles in his first Big Ten game start, 18 years old, a captain. Could he possibly lead a game-winning drive here? They're going to go to the ground, much like Maryland tried to do, but stopped up. Terrapin D-line that has been so good on the interior today with Jordan Phillips and Tommy Akingbosote. We hit the 2-minute timeout. Drama coming up on the other side of it, 24-24.
Dave Revson in our Chicago studios. Get you out for the conclusion of your game in just a moment. Don't forget the State Farm postgame coming up immediately after. We'll catch you up on the whole day in the Big Ten. Still 2 more games here coming up on the Big Ten Network, and we got 2 marquee programs involved. Number 2, Ohio State will take on Western Michigan at 7:30 Eastern. That's followed by 13th-ranked USC and Utah State. That's at 11 Eastern on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app.
Deadlocked at 24. 2 minutes to go in the fourth. Time for our drive summary brought to you by Kia. Movement that matters for Michigan State so far. Latest scoring drive only took 11 seconds. That was the one that tied it with the 77-yarder to Nick Marsh. Saw Jonathan Smith, their first-year head coach, on the sideline coaching in his first Big Ten Conference game. His QB that followed him from Oregon State, Aidan Chiles, under duress here to the sideline, and that is incomplete as he wanted Antonio Gates. So a couple of good stands from the Maryland defense to bring up 3rd down and 10.
I was referencing the off-man coverage that Maryland was featuring for a lot of the game up to this point. Now we're seeing them roll up. Dante Trader got into the grill of the slot receiver, made sure there was not going to be a free release. That throws off the timing of the Spartans passing attack.
Huge 3rd down. Chiles had a good pocket. His receiver got tangled up. He wanted Marsh. Late flag came in. Late flag came in, so we'll see what this is for.
Definitely tangled up.
Really tangled up on that far side.
Marsh and Jalen Husky.
Pass interference. Defense, number 22. The ball be placed at the spot of the infraction. Automatic. First down.
When the receiver gets up onto the feet of the defensive back, then as a DB, that's where you have to be able to absorb a bit of that contact without getting handsy. And that's where Jalen Husky, it's almost like he panicked a little bit. He got off balance and went out and held Nick Marsh.
Chiles back to throw again. Good pocket over the middle to Antonio Gates Jr. Spinning off tackles and moves it forward up to the 38 with 100 seconds to go. 3 timeouts left for the Spartans. Chiles will take off, can use his legs, lowers his shoulder, picks up enough for a 1st down.
Remember, Jason, there was a moment earlier in the game near the sideline where Aidan Chiles just reached the football out and was short of the sticks. That time he made sure he moved the chains.
Great point. Final 2 minutes of each half. Clock stops. They reset the chains on a 1st down. Receiver slipped in Montorie Foster, but somehow still made the catch, basically from the seat of his pants for a 1st down and a gain of 12.
Underappreciated part of the struggles Michigan State had from game 1 because so much focus was on Aidan Chiles. Montorie Foster, the offensive line, a variety of receivers didn't perform at a high level. Today they have.
They feel comfortable with Jonathan Kim, their kicker from as far as 58. go back to the air, another completion, another first down with Marsh. He gets out of bounds. The freshman is having a day.
Going back to the off-man look, but you have to recognize where the sticks are. There's so much space between Perry Fisher and Nick Marsh. You're just allowing him the free release for the first down.
Clock stops at 43 seconds after Marsh smartly got out of bounds. He plays beyond his years. A young QB throwing to young receivers, trying to lead a game-winning drive. It is Childs again, brought down. This time as they utilize his legs at the 30-yard line is where they'll mark it. See if the Spartans start to use their timeouts here. They do, burning the first one. Stops the clock at 34 seconds left. Still 2 timeouts left.
This is a veteran Maryland defense.
We'll take a quick break and be right back here in College Park.
Timeout, Michigan State.
On paper, we thought we could have a close matchup. Michigan State certainly came into this one as the underdog with their young quarterback, 18-year-old Aiden Childs, and first-year head coach Jonathan Smith. 37 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Michael Loxley and his crew want this one badly. A loss would sting for either team, given what's ahead down the road. Childs goes opposite side of the fake, has Marsh again. Why not? It just keeps working. See if they use another one of the timeouts. They got up about a yard short of the yards a gain.
The point I was going to make a moment ago about Maryland's defense. They've been really effective at when the initial tackler gets in to stop momentum. You see other guys constantly coming in to poke away at the football, rake away at the football, trying to create strips, takeaways. And so far, through nearly 2 games, Michigan State has put the football on the ground a number of times, both at the quarterback, running back, receiver, returner position. They have to maintain ball security.
Mentioned they feel comfortable with Jonathan Kim, their kicker on your screen from as far as 58 yards.
Timeout, Maryland. They're first of the half. A 30-second charge timeout.
Maryland takes the timeout. Jonathan Kim thinking about possibly winning this one with his leg. Jonathan Smith, his head coach, built Oregon State's program up to a point where they were going into places where they weren't expected to win and won. He's trying to do that here today in his first conference game on the road against Michael Loxley's Terps. Right now it would be about a 40-yarder. 3rd and 1 here. Conference play really feels like a new season. Feels a lot different than last week for both of these teams. They try to sneak it ahead with Childs. Does he have enough for a fresh set of downs here along that right hash? Emerges out of the pile. We'll see where they mark it.
They got some movement on the inside. Tanner Miller came out low. He was rolling.
Time for a measurement.
So we'll take an official's time for the measurement here, the all-important, crucial measurement. Fittingly, like you said, it was Tanner Miller who came over from Oregon State with Aiden Childs, leading the way for his QB. Miller was the backup center at Oregon State. Childs was the backup QB at Oregon State. So they would take a lot of snaps together and work on plays just like that. And we'll see here with the official measurement. And the Spartan faithful that traveled, you can hear their voices right now because this will be a first down. Nothing has been guaranteed, though, today. Right when you think something is guaranteed in this game, it isn't. Up the gut, inside of the 20. They continue to run along that right hash. Clock gets to 14 seconds.
Their second of the half. You have 30-second charge timeout.
Maryland uses their second.
There's no need for any ball carrier, whether it's Nate Carter at running back, if they hand it to a receiver. No one needs to think touchdown right now.
Don't forget, coming up after the game, the Big Ten Live football postgame sponsored by State Farm breaks down all the action. Getting conference play rolling here in College Park, and couldn't have dreamt of a more fun start to it.
Ball security is priority number one for anyone touching the football for Michigan State.
On 2nd and 7, back to Carter, same side.
Timeout. Michigan State, their second of the half. We have 30-second charge timeout.
Think of the various self-inflicted wounds that each team could look at throughout the game that have led to this moment. Opportunity that Maryland had in the second half to make it a 2-score game. McPherson was not, that Howes was not able to take advantage of. Multiple times the first half. Longer field goal tries for Jonathan Kemp. Maryland picks up a penalty, gives them an additional opportunity to put 3 on the board. Certainly make the case several of the interceptions, multiple interceptions thrown by Aiden Childs. Proper read, receiver, open, sails the ball, throws it over the wrong shoulder. There will be a lot for each staff to teach off of from this film. It will be teaching from a win or a loss.
Jonathan Kemp continues to take deep breaths and warm-up swings. Flag went flying before that run.
Montori Foster at the wing position flinched before the snap.
Ball start. Offense, number 3. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
See it again here. Left side.
Yep. Just outside the tight end's hip, just off the ball.
Trying to move it along that right side where they want to set up Kim for the potential game winner.
Timeout. Timeout. Michigan State. Their final charge. Timeout of the half. In a 30-second timeout.
Spartans take their final timeout. Maryland could theoretically use that one they have left to try to ice Kim.
It's pretty close to the ideal distance with these college hash marks for most place kickers. Each head coach knows which hash his kicker prefers, just for the swing of their leg, for how they stroke the ball. The place kick, where the path of the football normally takes them with that natural arc. But after you start getting too close in college football because of the width of the hash marks, then it can be awkward as a place kicker to try and fit the football in. This is not that.
Jonathan Kim, fittingly a Virginia native from the DMV, a 37-yarder, trying to win it for Michigan State. And before he can attempt it, there is that timeout.
Timeout.
To try to ice him.
Final charge. Timeout of the half. 30 seconds.
Don't forget, later tonight, 2nd-ranked Buckeyes are in action. They take the field at the Shoe for a primetime battle with Western Michigan. Coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, only on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app.
Some football being played on the Big Ten Network today, man. We had Penn State on the network earlier. We got the first conference clash right now. Ohio State, USC on the network.
Spartan sideline holding its breath. One more deep breath for Jonathan Kim before a 37-yarder. He nailed it. Jonathan Kim with 1 second on the clock. In all likelihood, gives Jonathan Smith, his head coach, his first Big Ten win. There is a flag out.
Looked like there may have been a bit of abrupt movement before the snap on Maryland side of things.
Personal foul on the defense, number 44, leaping. A 15-yard penalty being forced on the kickoff.
The Michigan State fans who traveled in full voice right now, and their head coach, Jonathan Smith, may be moments away from his first Big Ten win on the road, thanks to the leg of Jonathan Kim here.
No doubter. Plenty of leg, right on target, splitting the pipes.
The Spartans led for a total of just 6 minutes and 42 seconds today. One more second before they can walk out of here with a win. If you're Maryland right now with 1 second left, what's your strategy on the reception here?
I mean, we will likely see the ball get pitched around a little bit, perhaps thrown across the field on occasion. You're hoping for a miracle. You're hoping for a big mistake, a lane error. You're hoping that maybe folks on the kickoff coverage team, everyone trips over each other or something to that effect.
I'll just boot it out so the touchback, and now instead an opportunity for Edwards and the offense to deliver some trickery or a very, very long heave.
Billy Edwards got a nice arm.
He does.
It'd be quite a heave.
Jonathan Kim, 1 second left until he can fully celebrate as the hero of this one.
Look at the way each of these locker rooms closed their games last week. Aiden Childs, everything there's a career high. 363 yards, the completions, the attempts, 3 touchdown passes. I've been trying to contain the hype for Aiden Childs.
Well, here we go. Maryland's last chance. Prather will shovel it back to Felton. Now he reverses backwards onto Edwards. Goes cross field to Hemby. Trying to come up with a Maryland miracle. It is Prather now. Once again, and he gets tripped up by Cal Holiday. Fittingly, it's the experienced linebacker for Michigan State who ends the game, and the underdog Spartans come in under their head coach Jonathan Smith and give him his first Big Ten win in an absolute thriller down to the final second to kick off conference play in College Park. What a game. Anthony Herron, phenomenal job. Kylan down on the sidelines, great job. Everyone in the studio, awesome job. I'm Jason Raj Jr. saying so long. You can stay tuned for the Big Ten Game Break coming up next. This has been an exclusive presentation of the Big Ten Network. We'll take it in the studio.